Haley.
Hey, Tasha.
You ready to get the salt?
I'm ready to get the salt. You ready to get the salt?
Fuck yeah, I'm ready to get the salt.
Let's do this.
Let's do it. So today we are starting out with episode 5.
Yes, Bloody Mary.
And what are we drinking today, Haley?
We're drinking Bloody Mary.
We're fucking drinking Bloody Marys because it's Bloody Mary.
Yes.
Sounds so good.
Sounds like ice in a glass. Bloody Mary mix swirling around it.
But it sounds refreshing.
Mm.
So the show starts off with a girls' sleepover.
Yeah, there are 3 girls having this sleepover, and they're doing the typical girl thing, playing Truth or Dare.
I think they're too young to be, like, asking the kind of questions that they're asking about, like, boys liking them.
They're 12.
Okay, so they don't look 12 to me. They all look 5.
Yeah, they look younger than what they are, but I know it's released later in the episode that they are 12.
Okay.
So it is said and brought up and mentioned, but whatever. They're still, like, I feel like they're too young to have open flames everywhere, because they're sitting
I
around
wrote
with a
that
bunch
in my
of candles.
notes. I wrote that in my notes. I'm like, who the fuck let these kids have so many candles?
There's
fire hazard.
Yeah, lots and lots of candles.
Yes. Everywhere. They are fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Anxiety in my heart.
Yeah, a little bit. Mm-hmm.
So the girl, I believe her name is Lily,
Mm-hmm.
is what you find out later.
Yep.
She did not want to answer the truth because it made her uncomfortable. So
Because they asked her if she liked a boy,
yes.
and she didn't want to answer it.
No.
So
I
she
wouldn't
took a
want to
dare.
answer it either. Not at that age.
No.
So she does the dare of Bloody Mary. She has to say Bloody Mary in the mirror 3 times.
Yeah, and the typical, like, oblivious little girl is like, what's Bloody Mary? And the girls are like, well, she's a witch. No, she died in a car wreck. So already we're getting, like, these conflicting stories about how Bloody Mary becomes...
What she is, or like where the lore came from.
Right. So she does. She takes her open flame into a bathroom and says Bloody Mary in the mirror 3 times. And then the other 2 asshole girls start banging on the door and freak her the fuck out.
Yeah, make her scream, and her dad comes out. Can you girls keep it down, please?
Yeah.
And then you see Bloody Mary and all the fucking reflective surfaces everywhere.
Because they have way too many fucking mirrors in their house. I'm sorry, but they have a lot of fucking mirrors in their house.
I don't even have that many. I know mirrors are supposed to create like an open feeling.
No, there's we'll get to it. There's a lot more to mirrors than just accentuating a small room.
Well, yeah, but most decorators use mirrors to accentuate a room.
Well,
I don't like massive amounts of mirrors. I think it freaks me out.
well,
But the dad goes into the bathroom, notices something.
it's almost like a something crawling up his veins that you can see underneath his skin,
Yes.
like towards his eyeballs. And he notices that in the mirror when he's looking. He goes to like take his meds or something after he tells the girls to be quiet.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, something crawls up his skin.
And he touches his face like, the fuck is this? The fuck?
And then the scene cuts back down to the girls in the living room, the 12-year-old girls having the sleepover, and the teen sister comes home. Donna, yeah, she comes home and goes upstairs and finds blood like
Pooling. Like, not just a small amount of blood.
mass amounts of blood.
It looks like more blood than what a human body can hold into it. And she opens the bathroom door and just screams her face off.
Yeah, because we don't know why. Because she just opens the door and she screams.
And you don't see what she sees.
Right.
And then it cuts to Sam having a nightmare, again, about Jess. Wakes up. They're in Baby.
In
Oh,
Toledo.
I want to be in Baby.
I want to be in Baby too. But they're in Toledo, Ohio, which is where this sleepover and everything that has happened prior to Sam having this
Oh, we
nightmare.
didn't even say where it was at.
Yeah.
It's in Toledo, Ohio.
Yeah,
Or
they're
Indiana.
in
No, Ohio.
Yeah, they're in Ohio.
I think it's later. It's in Indiana.
Yeah, they go
Yeah.
later, and they go to Indiana later. But
They're in the parking lot of the hospital, so that way they can go down to the morgue.
Mm-hmm.
The morgue attendant is creepy. I feel like you could probably pay him off to
do
like anything you want with a dead body. That's how he seems. Oh, that was creepy.
it's quite creepy.
He's weird. Hey, I'm not supposed to do that. But if you want to give me money.
You pay me enough
turn around and look the other way.
Fucking weirdo. So one of the things that I wanted to mention, too, about Sam's nightmares is that they're progressively getting more intense. Because before he was having his nightmares, but now he's actually hearing Jess say, like, why, Sam? Why? Like,
yeah.
There's more to his nightmares now. When they wake up in Baby, when Sam wakes up, they're sitting outside the hospital. But there's more. They're escalating. They're slowly escalating. These nightmares are.
Dean's like another nightmare. Oh, it's lollipops, lollipops and rainbows.
Yeah, but they go down to the morgue. When they go down to the morgue, they are pretending to be med students, and they're pretending that the doctor, who is on his lunch break, let them come down and view the body of
Mr. Shoemaker.
Shoemaker, that's what it is.
Yeah, he doesn't really care that they're med students. He's like, well, I mean, you can wait. His lunch is off in an hour. Or...
An hour? We gotta be back by then.
But Sam's like, well, fuck this. I'm not waiting. I'm just gonna give you money. And Dean's like...
Dude, I earned that money. You won it in a poker game. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. So they pay the guy to see the body.
I like it when Dean says, because he keeps trying to give him like all these different excuses for the guy to let them see the body. Mm-hmm. And the guy's like, hard pass, hard no, like full stop every single time Dean tries to try his wiles on him, basically.
Yeah.
And he turns around and Dean's like...
I'm going to hit him in his face, I swear.
Sam's like, I got this, and that's when he slips him the money. But
yeah.
It just makes me laugh because Dean's like,
I don't know how to handle this right now. It's not working.
It's not working.
my adorable boyish charms are not working. They look at the corpse, and the coroner's attendant or the morgue attendant is like letting them know that the eyes are like, liquefied. He's never seen that much blood in someone's head before.
Yeah, because it like basically made his brain into like a
goop
soup.
Yeah.
But the eyes, did you notice though that the eyes look like, even though they're liquefied and they obviously were just like bled out, it looks like an angel kill.
It does.
Did you notice that too?
I noticed that too.
Yeah, that made me like, It made me stop and think because...
Maybe that's why they used it for later?
Well, we'll see it we see it in later seasons, not in this season, because it's not until after we meet all the angels and how angels kill. Mm-hmm. But that it looks like an angel kill, and that kind of stood out to me. It's just another continuity issue.
I agree. But they also paid the coroner attendant. It's the morgue attendant.
Yeah.
They pay him to see the police report as well.
Right.
And it doesn't really tell much either. Except for that the daughter is the one who found him.
And that he had a stroke.
But did he have a stroke?
Well, no, but that's what they're blaming on. I don't know what to say. Stroke. Sounds good. Okay, bye.
Lots of bleeding. Aneurysm, sure.
Mm-hmm.
So they go to talk to Donna. That's like such an adult name, too.
I know.
For a child. Donna.
I know. There's some weird names in this.
It also makes me think of that 70s show.
Me too. But it's not the Donna from that 70s show, because I like the Donna from that 70s show. This one's a little...
snotty.
Yeah. Magoo.
Yeah, she kind of reminds me of the chick that plays Snow White in the...
Are you going to say Once Upon a Time?
Yeah, in Once Upon a Time.
Me too. It's the hair.
It is the hair.
It's the hair.
There's a whole funeral going on at the house when they go to talk to Donna.
And they're all in high school, and it's like they're drinking giant mimosas. Or glasses of wine. Or something.
It could be juice.
Please. I don't think it is. But, so they go...
They all don't look like they're in high school.
No. No.
So Sam and Dean go to the Shoemaker house to talk to Donna about her dad.
Right, and they find out that Lily, the little girl that was having the sleepover, kind of thinks... She thinks it's her fault at this point because...
She did Bloody Mary, and that's how he died.
Because she was dared to do Bloody Mary, and then his eyeballs were scratched out. And
at least that's what it looked like.
Right. So they talk to
Donna and her friends, which should not be drinking what they're drinking or dressed how they're dressed.
Right?
In high school.
They don't look
My
like high
goodness.
schoolers.
No, they do not look like high
Where are
schoolers.
your parents? Oh, well.
Just kidding.
Donna, your dad's dead, and so is your mom. Sorry about it.
Surprise.
So they go upstairs to kind of go and check things out.
Where he died. So they're trying to see if they can find any clues as to how it happened or what is going on with the whole situation.
Right.
And since the younger sister said something about Bloody Mary, then they're trying to elaborate on the entire thing. And they're like, well, there's nothing in this region that really says anything about Bloody Mary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
it's kind of a hard lore to detect just because there's so much about it, and it doesn't really have a region. It's nationwide as far as the...
Bloody Mary is kind of worldwide, if you think about it.
That's true.
There's connotations of it everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But they thought that they might be where the legend began, so they were going to check it out and see what else is going on. And as they're in the bathroom looking for clues as to what happened to Mr. Shoemaker, one of Donna's friends...
Her name is Charlie.
I love that name.
Me too. I wanted to name my daughter Charlie.
I was supposed to be a Charlie.
Yeah. But she comes up and she kind of calls them on their shit just because Donna's dad was like a
day trader.
A day trader. I don't even know what that means, but she said that
he
he
sells stuff on eBay.
I really don't know. But she said he kind of worked by himself, and he was like a lone wolf type of worker. I guess.
Of guy.
I don't really know what that means, but she basically tells them,
"Tell me what's going on, or I'm going to scream."
Screaming, and I'm like, "You bitch! Like,
right?
Who says that?" I was a little taken aback by Charlie at that point, but.
I mean, it gives her way.
Yeah, because Sam kind of gives her the rundown-ish.
Like a watered-down version.
Yeah, he doesn't tell her the whole situation of what they're really doing. He just kind of says, do you really think that this was an aneurysm?
Yeah.
Do you really think that he just dropped dead?
And then he gives her their phone number just in case anything... quote unquote, out of the ordinary happens
to you or your friends.
Yeah. So they head to the library to do some research, and they get there to look at through all of the public records, see if anybody named Mary had died in front of a mirror or
and they're kind
anything
of kicking
similar.
Around the idea of the Bloody Mary theory just because there is so many. It's like from mutilated bride to a witch. There's so many different theories of this Bloody Mary that they're trying to figure out if this is the origin town of where Bloody Mary started or what is going on.
Yeah.
But there's all common threads to these Bloody Marys that they're talking about. One of them is that they're all named Mary, and the other one is that they all died in front of a mirror. So they're just trying to find anybody named Mary that died in front of a mirror in this town.
Yeah. And Dean's like, well, that sounds annoying.
Well, and it wouldn't be, but all of the...
Well, yeah, Sam was like, well, I mean, it should go fairly quickly, and then it pans over, and it shows all of the computers are down and out of service. And then it cuts to Jill and Charlie on the phone with each other, talking about what happened to Mr. Shoemaker.
Yeah, and so Charlie's driving. Jill is in her room, and Jill is one of Donna's friends who's like... You didn't think these guys were cute? These guys were cute. Like, she's just that dumb blonde that is kind of slutty, and I hate saying that, but that's exactly the character she's portraying.
I don't know. I don't like to use the word slut.
I don't either, but that's
like the typical blonde, trashy, annoying, stupid person.
Yeah,
that's just who she is.
It's what she's playing to, and Charlie is trying... She doesn't want to think that Bloody Mary is what happened, but then she's also thinking about what Sam and Dean had told her up by the bathroom. Like, do you really think that this is how we died? Do you really... maybe... So she's playing the devil's advocate within her own mind, and she is...
It more sounds like she's just trying to sound it out.
Yeah.
And Jill, the snotty... annoying one, starts making a joke of it. Well, maybe Lily was right. Like, maybe it is Bloody Mary. And so her dumbass goes into her fucking bathroom and says Bloody Mary 3 times.
Into the mirror. And she's like, she plays it off and screams.
And freaks her fucking friend out.
Yeah. And then she's like, haha, just kidding. See you tomorrow. Click. And hangs up on her. I'm like, you little brat.
Yeah.
You fucking brat. Ugh.
And then it shows her going back to her closet to, like, I don't know, get ready for bed. So she takes off her socks or shoes or whatever, and then her pants. And I don't know if you noticed this, but when it shows her in the mirror, because it shows a little, like, glimpse of her panties, she's wearing 2 pairs of panties because of
she is?
The outer pair slips down and you can see the lower pair.
Oh, my goodness.
Like, the underneath pair. And I'm like, are you afraid? I was going to see your butt cheek.
Well, every time you see her reflection in the mirror, you also see a reflection of Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary.
Yeah, this ghost that's falling around in the reflective surfaces.
So Bloody Mary was just too much for me to write out in my notes, so I wrote BM.
Like a bowel movement.
Bowel movement.
Yeah. It happens. Well, so she goes into the bathroom, this dumb little blonde. She goes into the bathroom and is getting ready for bed after she had said Bloody Mary in the mirror 3 times. And her eyes start to bleed, and the reflection starts to play this trick on her, where when she leans down to wash her face and then stands back up, and the reflection is possessed at this point by the ghost.
Like it's 2 separate people.
Yeah, and the reflection says, you did it. And then her eyes start to bleed. And then her reflection says, you killed that boy.
Yeah.
And her eyes start to bleed even more. And then she, like, chokes on her own blood, basically. And then
dies.
ends up dying. And the Bloody Mary kind of has a little bit bigger part at this point. Because she's actually speaking to the people that are dying.
Yeah, the thing that bothers me the most about that whole scene and like all of the scenes where everybody's eyes bleed and you see them bleeding.
Is it drip, drip, drip?
Well, you can see where the makeup artist put the little tube through underneath their eye.
You can?
Yeah, and it covers it with the latex.
I didn't notice that.
But if you look, you can see, like, stare at their eyes. You can see where it has like the little bag pump. Mm-hmm. Because the whole underneath of their eye just looks fucking weird.
See, and I didn't focus on that part of it when I was watching it. I was focusing more on the fact that they made it drip. Because you can see once it comes, the blood starts to run down the side of their nose, and it hits their nostril part. It starts to drip off of their face.
Yeah, it's because it's a pump.
Right.
It's a flat blood pump, but you can buy them online, not at stores, but you can buy them online. Mm-hmm. And you use liquid latex to kind of make sure it looks cohesive with your whole face, and then it's a tube that goes up over your ear. And it pumps it. It pumps it so it looks like blood tears come running out of your face.
And I didn't notice the under the eye thing. I just noticed the fact that it was dripping, and I was like, ooh.
I was just like, she looks like she's been up for a few days. And then I realized it's the fucking makeup.
So we see Sam having another nightmare.
And the flames are blue.
Mm-hmm. It's because he's having a nightmare. It's not reality anymore. It's all in his head. It's in his dreams now.
Yeah.
But he's definitely having an issue with this because his dreams are becoming more intense.
And he asked Dean if he's found anything, and Dean is like, no, I mean, I found some things, but nothing directly related to anyone named Mary or anything really with a mirror.
Finding the right death.
No. At that moment, Charlie calls and lets Sam know that her friend Jill died.
Yep, and they found her in front of a mirror and her eyes were liquefied.
In the exact same way as Mr. Shoemaker.
Right.
So Charlie takes them to Jill's house.
Yeah, and she basically breaks them into their bedroom because they wanted to look more into what Jill saw that night. So she told Jill's mom that she just needed some time alone with Jill's things and her pictures. And then bust the boys in through the bedroom window.
Through the bedroom window. Like a teenager.
Typical.
Yeah. It's like the boyfriend-girlfriend thing, like, come stay in my room with me.
Yeah, but shh, come through my window.
Be very quiet.
Yes. So Dean gets out his EVP and Sam gets out a
camcorder.
A camcorder and turns on the night vision.
And Dean goes,
Do I look like Paris Hilton?
I'm like, oh, that's the porn tape. That's a porn reference. Go you.
Way to go, Supernatural.
Yeah, I was like, I am fucking dead. D-E-D dead. Like, oh my God.
Oh, I thought about you when I was watching that, and I was like, I'm not writing that in my notes because I know Tasha's going to.
Yeah.
We'll bring it up.
Porn. Anything porn, it's like my ears are like, what?
But as they're bringing around that night vision camcorder, they see that the drippings of
something.
There's something that like brings alarm, brings attention to there might be something within, and it was on a mirror. It was behind a mirror.
The bathroom mirror.
Right. So they pull the bathroom mirror off the wall and they rip off the paper backing that is behind most mirrors. I feel like most mirrors have that paper backing on it.
Every single mirror, unless it's super antique.
Okay. So they rip that off and they find a handprint with the black light.
And a name of Gary Bryman.
And they go through and they research the Gary Bryman name because Charlie has no idea who they're talking about when they say Gary Bryman. And they realize that there was a hit and run. It was Gary Bryman's a child. And he was a victim of a hit and run that resulted in his death.
Yeah, and they didn't see the license plate and they didn't see the driver, but they saw the make and model of the car. And it just so happened to be the exact same car that Jill drove.
Yeah, so she's a fucking murderer.
She fucking killed a child.
Yeah, hit and run.
Yeah.
And she bounced.
I mean, I have questionable morals, but when it comes to children dying, they're not questionable.
No.
But everything else is up for grabs. So,
so
they decide that they need to go back over to Donna's to see if they can find anything in regards to her dad so they can make a possible connection.
Right. So they go into the bathroom and they pull the mirror off the wall and they pull the paper backing off of that.
And they find the same handprint and Linda Shoemaker's name written on it. So they ask Donna about her mom's...
About your mom and how she died. And she's like, she OD'd on sleeping pills. It's fine. It happens to a lot of people. There's nothing weird here.
It was an accident.
Yeah.
Like, super snotty. Get out of my house.
Get out of my house. She was pissed.
So Dean decides to run a nationwide search for Bloody Mary or anything related to a Mary Mears, what have you, for the entire nation. And he's like pinning it up on the walls. And Sam is like, well, maybe it's not just that. Maybe it has something to do with the mirrors.
I mean, there's a lot of folklore about mirrors, that they reveal all your lies, all your secrets, that they're a true reflection of your soul, which is why it's bad luck to break them.
Right.
And that's like, I feel like there's just as much lore on mirrors as there is on Bloody Mary.
If not more.
Yeah, because people, like, back in the day, they would cover mirrors when a loved one died so they wouldn't get trapped within the mirror. And even my son has told me, like, Mom, when you hang up mirrors in the house, please don't hang too directly apart from each other because it creates this portal and it's like an entryway for any sort of ghost or
like spirit
to pass through because of the way that the mirrors are positioned. And it's, I mean, my children do the creepy things like I do.
They spooky like their mommy.
They spooky like their mommy. And my daughter and my son, they spooky in different ways, but my son is very much be very mindful about how you position your mirrors because he's researched that.
Yeah.
And he's looked it up and I will take it into account. Yes, sir. Yes, I will. I will not hang two mirrors directly apart from each other. I am sorry because...
Well, due to all the folklore as well, that's why it's such bad luck to break a mirror because of all the things that can happen with them.
And it can suck in parts of your soul. And
yes.
If you break a mirror, it's bad luck because you're kind of breaking a piece of your soul. Right?
Yeah.
That's how I
see it.
Okay. Me too, it's Mirror. But bum.
So Sam and Dean are also thinking that maybe has something to do with Mary, but she's punishing people for their bad deeds, whether you summoned her or not. So maybe if she's summoned, she'll just seek someone out who's doing something bad.
Right, because in the beginning, it was this 12-year-old little girl who obviously has no secrets or weird anything happenings in her past because she's fucking 12. She summons she summons Bloody Mary, and her dad dies.
Yeah.
So she's not necessarily seeking out the person who's summoning her. She's just seeking out somebody who has a secret or something to do
who's nearby.
Right, in their past. And when she sees those secrets and when she sees that negativeness and that you hiding something in your past, that's when she's like, yep, good enough for me.
Yeah.
You're fucking dead.
So Dean found one that suited the whole Bloody Mary storyline pretty well, and it's a woman named Mary Worthington, and it's an unsolved murder in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Yep, and she was 19. She was very pretty.
And she was killed in front of a mirror with the same bloody handprint, and it looked like she was trying to spell someone's name out on the mirror.
Right. She was having an affair with a doctor, a surgeon.
A married man.
Yep, he was married. He was a surgeon. She was having an affair with him, and his name was Trevor. And the first 3 letters that they could make out within the crime scene that she was trying to spell with her own fucking blood
was T-R-E.
Was T-R-E.
And so they traveled to Fort Wayne, Indiana, and this is how we find all this out, is they're talking to the detective that was on the case. Mm-hmm. He also has a copy of the case report, which, legally he's not supposed to have, but he does share it with them in hopes that maybe they can figure it out. But they obviously don't want to figure it out. They just want to figure out how the fuck to take care of her vengeful spirit in all of this.
Right.
And that's when they find out that she was not buried.
She was cremated.
She was cremated, and the person who he believes killed her is dead as well. Mm-hmm. So there's nothing that they can do on that end.
Right. And they were asking, why do you think that it was this surgeon, this Trevor guy who was a surgeon, why do you think that it was him that killed her? Besides the fact that she was having an affair with him, but because her eyes were removed surgically.
Yeah, it almost looked completely surgically done.
Because it was so pristine, they think it was him. And the fact that it was her eyes and the part of the body that has been liquefied to the point where it looks like it's been scratched out, mm-hmm. It was the eyes. Like, this is the whole full circle coming to where everything is connected.
Yeah. So they asked in specific about the mirror that she died in front of, and the detective said that no, it's not still in lockup. It was returned to her family.
Mm-hmm. It's a very pretty mirror.
It is a really pretty mirror, and it was returned to her family a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, scene change. We go back to the high school because these children are in high school. These young adult women.
Yes. And Charlie is trying to talk to Donna, and she's like, well, what if? Like, I know that we're just laughing this off about the whole Bloody Mary thing, but what if that's kind of
what it really is?
And Donna's pissed. Donna's pissed because Charlie brings in these strangers into her home to question her about how her mom died and how her father has died and how, like, all of this is... She's basically just discrediting anything that has to do with Bloody Mary.
I can kind of see why she's pissed off, though, because I mean, it's such a random. It's random people coming into her home. It's invasive. It's
very valid.
Very valid.
She has a very valid point. But we know Sam and Dean have the best intentions at heart, so just fucking go with it, Donna. God damn it,
Donna. So Donna, being Donna, and thinks that Charlie is being ridiculous, says Bloody Mary into the school bathroom mirror.
Yeah.
3 times, and then, like, pretty much tells her to go fuck herself and walks out.
Yeah, and then Charlie starts seeing the reflection of Bloody Mary while she's in, like, chemistry class.
And at first I was like, what the fuck did you do? Mm-hmm. What'd you do?
Yeah, what's your secret, Charlie?
Yeah, who'd you kill?
What's your issue? All these fucking high schoolers with all these secrets.
Yeah.
I'm
dirty.
So
That's why her hair's so big. It's full of lies. So she freaks out in class.
Yeah.
And
because she's seeing Bloody Mary in the reflections of everything, like teachers' glasses, windows, like not her phone.
So the boys find out that the mirror was in the family for years, and it was just sold to an antique shop in Toledo recently.
A week ago.
A week ago. That's right. So Charlie calls the boys, freaking out about how Bloody Mary's after her. Mm-hmm. So they take her to a hotel. They take her to a seedy hotel.
But we see the clock for the first time.
What does the clock say?
The clock, like the clock. It's so okay. I was gonna do research on this, and then I didn't. There is a clock, and it shows up in every season, and it is in hotel rooms that the boys like go to, like they the ones that they stay in. There's a clock, and it looks like something that you would find in a trashy hotel room. It looks like a sun, kind of. Mm-hmm. And so when they're taking all of the reflective surfaces down, the clock comes off the wall. And you can see that it's a clock because it has all the spines of like a sun ray.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's the first vision of the clock. That's the first time you see the clock. But you see it throughout all of the seasons.
Is it like the same clock in every hotel room?
Yes. Oh. And there is like a BuzzFeed thing about it. I'm like, but it's true because you see this clock throughout all of the seasons. I'll be like, that one.
All of the hotel rooms also look the same. They just mildly change certain aspects of it.
Because like the
entryway, the circles, it turns into like fish or like cowboy boots or
the circles, or there's more circles, or it's a thing. It's a thing. I don't think that they meant for it to be a thing, but it turns into a thing. But so they take her to a hotel room where they're covering up all of the reflective surfaces, and they're taking off all the mirrors, and they're trying to
make sure she's safe. And then they start asking her, like, what's your secret? Mm-hmm. What happened with you? And we find out that it's not necessarily something that's her fault.
She blames herself for
she
it, though.
blames herself. And it was her boyfriend a long time ago. I guess it sounds to me like it was a pretty abusive relationship.
I don't know how long ago it could be, though, because she's only, what?
17?
Yeah, ish.
So maybe it was like last year.
But she was so in love with him, but there was things about the relationship that threw up red flags that she was
scared of him.
She was scared. And
they got into an argument, and he said, if you walk out the door, I will kill myself. And she said, go ahead, and walked out. And what did he do?
He ends up killing himself. And she says, I didn't think that he was going to. I should have believed him. And coming from, I've had abusive relationships in my past. I get where she's coming from. She is the battered woman at this point, and she has not gotten over any of that. And I can understand how she is still placing the blame on herself because she is so young. But fuck him.
Honestly, it's not her fault. No matter what anybody will say, it's not her fault.
No,
it was his choice to do that.
Yeah.
You can feel guilt over what happened, whatever, but you need to work past it. But it was not her fault, but because she views it as her fault, the ghost is like, good enough for me.
Yeah.
You're going to die.
Yeah. I don't do okay with the whole abusive relationship stuff because it's, even though it was like,
it's a very tender topic for me.
Me too. It was years and years ago in my life that happened to me, but even still, when I talk about it, when I see battered women, and when I see the effects of it, it feels like it was so, it
just happened
yesterday.
It makes me feel super raw on the inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I get it.
100%. And she is very much that person at this point in the show. And so as fresh as it makes my wounds feel, and then watching the character relive that kind of thing, I can see where she's coming from. On the other hand, I'm thinking to myself, he's an asshole. If he's going to put that on her, he's the asshole.
Yeah.
But it's still so raw. But it hurts. I don't like it.
I don't either. It's a very tender topic.
Yeah.
So the boys start talking about how to get rid of Mary. Like, do we just smash her mirror?
They make sure that Charlie is safe and all the reflective surfaces are covered.
Yeah.
And then they take off, and they are thinking that maybe, possibly, if they are able to find this antique mirror in this antique shop and they smash that mirror, maybe that'll be
okay. And then they both start thinking, well, what if that's not good enough because she can travel mirror to mirror? Mm-hmm. What if she survives in the other mirrors? So they have the idea to summon her into her mirror and then break that mirror.
Break the source, yeah.
So, neutralizing the entire situation.
Right.
And Sam says, I want to do it. I want to summon her.
Well, who's going to summon her? I will. She'll come after me.
Mm-hmm. So Dean's like, but what secret do you have? I already know about Jess.
Yeah, he's like, what? There is no secret. I know what happened. I know how Jess died. That's not your fault. This isn't your fault.
And Sam is saying there's more to it, but he's not okay with saying anything to Dean.
Yeah, he said if I tell you it wouldn't be a secret and then it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
So it's very much we're going back to these nightmares that Sam is having and the hard, what Dean is so worried about his brother about.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to figure out we know that this is why he feels guilty, because Jess is dead. We know that's why, but we're trying to figure out so now there's a secret.
Yeah, there's something else to this whole Jess dying thing.
Mm-hmm. And Dean's not okay with Sammy being bait.
Well, of course, that's his baby brother. He
right.
may be a moose compared to the squirrel size of him, but he's still his baby brother.
Right.
So they go into the antique store, and there's fucking mirrors everywhere.
There's mirrors all over the fucking place. This wasn't an antique store. This was a mirror shop.
Store. Everything's mirrors.
Hall full of mirrors. Ugh. Mirrors everywhere.
So they start looking around, and they don't realize it, but it shows you on the show. They set off a silent alarm. Mm-hmm. And as they find the mirror, or Sam finds the mirror. Sam finds Bloody Mary's mirror. Mm-hmm. The cops start spotlighting the front of the store to see what's going on. So Dean goes out there pretending to be the shop owner's adopted son.
You're Mr. Yashimoto's son?
Yeah.
I was adopted. I keep trying to tell you guys this. No. There's so many mirrors in this store.
It's overwhelming. I like mirrors, but not to that extent to sell them.
I will say, though, out of all of the times that I've seen this show, like this episode in particular, and as many mirrors as they show within this episode, I've never seen an accidental, like microphone or camera.
Oh, in any of the mirrors. You're so right.
Shots. Yeah. So, good job. Good job, guys. I don't know what else to say.
So, Sam summons Bloody Mary and starts breaking mirrors as Dean's trying to handle the cops.
Yeah, because they're in the back after Sam finds the mirror and the spotlight hits. Dean goes to check it out because Sam has to be the bait. And Sam's like, got this, I'll be right back. Smash anything that fucking moves.
Yeah, and Dean's like, I don't fucking have time for this anymore. Knocks the cops out and goes back inside to help his brother.
All the while, Sam is like, the Bloody Mary is having the reflective...
Like a cat and mouse chase with him, like kind of jumping mirror to mirror.
Eyes are bleeding, though, and Sam is trying to smash whatever mirror he sees the reflection in. He really is trying to get rid of this, and he's coaxing it. Come to this mirror, come to this mirror, come to this mirror. He wants it in the mirror that her spirit is tied to. And she shows up in that mirror.
But it turns into him.
She's playing such this possessive angry spirit game.
Vengeful spirit game.
Yeah, she's playing this game with him, and it's just, it's your fault.
Yeah.
It's your fault. Jess is dead. And you've been having this dream for days before this happened. You knew this was going to happen to her. And you didn't say anything.
You never told her the truth. Who you really were. But it's more than that, isn't it? Those nightmares you've been having of Jessica dying, screaming, burning. You had them for days before she died. Didn't you? You were so desperate to be normal, to believe they were just dreams. How could you ignore them like that? How could you leave her alone to die?
You didn't try to warn her. You didn't try to prevent it. Nothing.
Yep.
He knew that it was going to happen.
He was having
premonitions.
Yep. The nightmare that he's been having since him and Dean left.
Started
before she died.
Before she died.
And that was his secret, and that's why he didn't want to tell his brother.
Yeah. And Dean smashes the mirror. He didn't hear anything that the ghost said.
No.
But he smashes the mirror that Bloody Mary is in.
Because Sam was on his knees, and his
dying.
eyes were bleeding, and his heart was constricted, and his chest was tight. And you could tell with the body posture and everything that Sam is showing at this point that he's dying. He's dying. Yeah. And after Dean knocks out the cops and comes in to rescue his brother, he smashes the mirror and doesn't hear what the ghost is saying to Sam, but he smashes the mirror and is able to get rid of it.
Yeah. But he's not able to get rid of it because she crawls out of the frame.
Like the ring.
Like the ring.
Yeah.
And she
Yep.
She acts the same fucking way in season 15 too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, ring much?
Mm-hmm.
Come out of the well. Little Susie, go back into that pond.
Me.
But she crawls out of the mirror and she starts to get them both. And Dean reaches over and grabs.
They both drop to the ground and they're grabbing their guts and they're holding their chest and their eyes are bleeding and there's so much stuff happening. And
Dean reaches over and grabs the mirror and faces it.
One of the many mirrors that's in this fucking store.
One of the few mirrors that Sam didn't smash. And faces it to her.
Uh-huh.
In hopes that it will do something.
Yeah, and it does. Yeah, it does. And she basically tells herself within the mirror, which she's a fucking ghost. How is there a reflection?
I don't know how it worked. I thought it was pretty cheesy how the whole episode ended too.
Okay.
But her reflection told her, you killed all those people.
It's your fault they're all dead.
It's your fault they're all dead. And her reflection pretty much she self-assassinates.
She shattered herself. Because when she melts into a pile of glass. You can hear it.
But yeah, she dies.
Ish.
Like she's dead already, but
she's cremated. Like the end of this was not cohesive.
But she did something. I don't know. She's not there anymore. She went to hell, wherever she's at.
Well,
because she comes back in season
15 with a terrible wig.
A terrible wig.
It's an awful wig. And I feel like the makeup was better in season 1 than it was in season 15. With the whole blood out of the eyes.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that it's because
Season 15 was fucking cool. Like, so far, the episodes. I'm pretty damn impressed.
But the makeup that they're using and the wigs and everything, I'm just really hoping that they're spending their money on
CGI.
Better theatrics than what's been happening the last couple episodes. Anyways.
So back to it. She dies.
Yeah, Bloody Mary
somehow she self-assassinates, and Sam and Dean take Charlie home from the seedy hotel room they put her in.
Yeah, and Sam tries to tell her, forgive yourself. It's not your fault that your boyfriend died. Your ex-boyfriend died.
Sometimes bad things just happen. And Dean's like, that's some pretty good advice.
Practice what you preach, buddy.
Buddy.
Brother.
Buddy.
Yeah. And so Dean tries to get out of him, like, what's the secret that you couldn't tell me?
Yes. Now that we're done with this, what is going on?
Sam's like, well, some things I just got to keep to myself. I died for you, but
some things I need to keep to myself.
Yeah. Well, we'll figure it out later.
Yeah. And then as they're driving away out of the town, right after Sam says that, he looks out the window. Mm-hmm. And you just see like this beautiful image of Jess just standing there in a white dress.
And it's flowing so elegantly in the wind, and her tits look really good.
She's pert. But like a phone post pass or whatever through his vision.
They turn a corner. They turn a corner, and the fucking gigantic like telephone pole that's never on the corner of a street in the middle of town
is there.
And she's gone.
And that's the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Well, thanks for sitting through another episode of Get the Salt with us.
I'm so excited that people are actually listening to us.
Me too.
Not even kidding. Like all of our listeners, thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Yes, please don't forget to download the episodes when you listen.
Download, listen, share, all of the things.
Leave us a review on our Facebook page.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and our Facebook page is the Get the Salt, a Supernatural podcast on Facebook, and we just really appreciate all of the things that are happening on there.
Yes. And our Twitter is @_GetTheSalt. Mm-hmm. You can find me on Twitter at GetTheSaltTasha.
I'm on Twitter as @GetTheSaltHaley. If you want to email us, we have an email going, and that is podcastgetthesalt@gmail.com.
Yeah, if you want to talk to us personally, or if you have any questions, or if maybe you want to sponsor us with any sort of
fun things.
Alcohol. We like alcohol.
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers. And that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks.
Yeah. Bye.
Goodbye.
This has been a production of the Undercover Capes Podcast Network. Please check out their other shows for all of your podcast and pop culture needs at undercovercapes.com.